second try, I guess you could say.
What is up, guys? We're back with another vlog, and today I'm going to be doing the suspension on my 2000 Roadglide Screamin Eagle CVO, whatever you want to call it. This thing came factory with, you know, the air assist shocks, all that stuff, and it's about time I've actually put some real suspension on it. So I'm going to be tackling that today. I've already done the rears, so I'm going to go over that, and I'm going to show you guys a cost-effective way to actually get some good suspension on these older baggers with adjustability, and it's not going to cost you like thousands of dollars like getting a set of Ohlins or a set of Legends or something like that. For the front, I'm just going to be doing progressive springs, getting rid of the air assist, and doing 2 overextensions on the tubes. So the whole bike is going to be 14s in the rear, or roughly 14 in the rear, and then 2 over in the front, so it should sit real good, handle amazing, and I cannot wait to get this all completed. So let's get these bikes moved out of the garage, get the bagger set up on a stand, and start taking apart that front end. Alright, so the first bike we gotta get out, of course, is my little Coleman with a Predator 212, the high compression head. It's still actually a stock motor, but I was able to top it out at roughly 60 miles an hour. Thing moves out, but it does need a motor, or a motor internal soon, because it's definitely maxing this little stock motor out, but on the front spike. So let's get all these bikes moved out. Got the dyno here, and then there is the bagger. We'll get that moved, positioned right here. So let's get these moving out. Alright guys, so I have the bike pulled out just so we can have a little before footage of what this thing looks like on somewhat stock suspension. Like I said, the rears, I already have the 13-inch shocks off of a 24 CVO bike, which I'll go over that more later in the video, but I will be adding 1-inch lift blocks to the rear. So like I said, it should be 14 in the rears, 2 overs in the front, but this is what it looks like now with technically stock front suspension and 13-inch shocks in the rear, which is the same length of the factory air shocks on these. So yeah, let's take a look. So the Florida summer is here today. It's supposed to be, feels like 105 out. There's a huge heat warning going on right now. Wife and I met up with our friends, went to a farmer's market this morning, and it was absolutely miserable. It was fun hanging out, of course, but so hot. So yeah, let's get this bike pulled in. I haven't started this bike in actually a few months, at least it feels like that. So I've been riding the dyno so much. So let's get this thing started up and get it pulled in. Like I said, I've been riding the dyno a lot, and this thing looks amazing right now.
Said hopefully you guys like that vlog on this thing. So a lot more riding on it for sure. That paint is looking amazing right now on the sun. Yeah, so let's go get that thing started up, get it pulled in, and get that whole front end taken apart.
I got a couple fans running here, but as you can already see, I don't think that's going to be enough for this heat that we got going on here in Florida. So let's try to get this thing jacked up, ready to go, start taking it apart before pretty much melting this garage with how hot it is. Alright, so we have the bike up on the jack, got it strapped down to the jack.
And now, if I'm not mistaken, we gotta remove this and remove these plastics. That should be able to get us down and access to everything we need to pull the forks. But first, I'll probably take the wheel off and the front fender off. That way, that's already done with.
All right, so let's go over what I'm going to be putting on the bike today. Just got it right here in front of me.
So we're going to be doing the progressive heavy-duty springs in the front forks. There's a set of some billet 2/over extensions for the forks, 2/over cowbells, because in my opinion, I think 41 mils without cowbells looks kind of goofy. And I want to run cowbells on it. And then these are the rear lift blocks from Harley to the back of the bike to give us that 14. And on top of that, we got right here some 20 weight fork oil. So this bike should be running, or this bike should perform great in the front suspension as well as the rear. Like I said, later on in the video I will get to what I did in the rear because I've already put it on. But when I go to install the actual lift blocks, I'll go over everything I did for the rear to make the 24 and up CVO suspension fit on this bike. It's actually pretty much plug and play, but you do have to make a bracket to hold the preload adjuster, but I'll show you guys all that stuff in a bit. But yeah, so let's get to actually tearing this apart. Like I said, I'm gonna take the wheels off first, take the front fender off, get that all situated, and then we go from there.
Tire off, the front fender, the brakes, all that stuff is off now. So I'm gonna get to the top. Actually, I'm gonna take a break. Parents are heading over here soon to grab dinner. And after that, I'll get back at it. And I think my buddy Austin's gonna be coming over and give me a hand as well. So stay tuned.
All right, guys, parents just headed out, changed real quick, something a little bit cooler, because it is still pretty spicy out as the temperature. I think it's about 7 o'clock right now, or 7:30. But yeah, so where I left off,
you can see I have the whole front wheel and fenders off. So from here I'm going to start draining both tubes. Super easy on these bikes. Let's just unscrew the little Phillips head right here. It should drain out all of the bad old fluid. And then from there, I'm going to start tearing this part up. Tear apart this plastics up here. That way we can get to the actual tubes. Let's get these apart. It's in here. Alright, so note to self, if you have air assist on the front of your bike, make sure you let the air out.
This is everywhere. Oh shit.
Fucking all over me. So let me get this all cleaned up and then we'll get back to the video.
It's all over the GoPro. It's everywhere. It's all on the bike. Fun.
Alright, so that was a mess. Got most of it cleaned up, but now I definitely need to get my floors redone because I didn't get to some of it fast enough, and of course there's already some stains, but it is what it is. So, live and you learn, but hoping, now that this one is empty, there should be no pressure in it now. So I'm gonna set the GoPro up and keep filming, and if it blows up again, you guys get to laugh at me another time. Let's get to it. so I just got the ignition switch out
Of the top of the plastics where the triple trees on the bars mount.
Now you have to remove this to get all these plastics off, of course.
Now in the 2000s a little bit different.
Than the other Roadglides, I guess you could say. It's kind of the same thing. You get all the way to lock. There's a little pin under here. You kind of see it right there. Get a screwdriver on that. Turn your key counterclockwise. And usually it's supposed to pop right up, but on the 2000s you want to turn, once you get this key turned all the way counterclockwise from the unlock position, you turn it all the way to accessories and then it pops right out. So what I would do, or what I would recommend, is unplugging your battery or disconnecting your battery. That way the bike's not set in the accessory position the whole time that you're working on it. So I just did that. I'm gonna take
This little nut off the top here, and then we should be able to remove the rest of the plastics and get to the actual triple trees. So let's do it.
All right, so I got the plastics pretty much taken apart. Have access now to the triple trees, so
what we got here. So let's pull that apart. So I should come on. There's a quick disconnect right here. Take that. Sucks this one. The switches are stuck and they're hardwired, so I gotta figure that out. But I might just leave that in there because I still have access to the triple trees. But there they are. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this top airline fitting, take that with me to Lowe's, get the correct bolt, even though I found pretty much all the information online, but I wanna make sure, as well as the top cap, because the caps I ordered are not long enough. So pretty much screwed there. So I'm just gonna pretty much put a bolt in these air assist top caps, or whatever you wanna call these, and we should be good to go. So going to remove all that stuff and try to get these tubes out. And then after that, I'll probably call the night, because like I said, I won't be able to finish anyways, because I do need that top fitting all sorted out. So we'll go from there.
not as bad as I thought it'd be for sure. Minus that huge hiccup with the oil shooting out, which totally sucked, but it is what it is. Live and you learn. But yeah,
things coming along, should be riding, I'd say, by tomorrow night.
Alright, so I just removed that air fitting line, and it was already super loose to begin with, so I would assume that's why I would always lose air pressure on the front end. So we got that out.
You see it's right here. On top of that also, that O-ring looks pretty non-existent. That's the reason, yeah, see, it's kind of into the threads. So, like I said, I'm going to take this with me to Lowe's tomorrow, or Home Depot. Get this yanked off here. She knows because I know her one, but we'll get that. So I'm going to take this with me tomorrow to Lowe's. Make sure I get the right bolt. Like I said, I found some information online already, but just want to verify it. And I'm also going to take this with me, so I need to go get my 1 3/8 socket to get this part of this little cap or plug or whatever you want to call it off top of the triple trees. From there, it's pretty much a bolt right here on each side, and actually it's just the one bolt right there, and then these should slide right out. And like I said, I'll probably leave them in tonight because I need to take this and that to Lowe's tomorrow, make sure I get the right bolt, and then tomorrow we're going to finish up the rest of this. So let's get this out and we'll go from there.
Alright guys, it is the next day. I'm gonna be heading to Lowe's right now to go and grab a bolt to cap this. I just have it in the bag because it's leaking a little bit of fork fluid, but I'm gonna go there, grab 2 bolts that will replace this banjo bolt here and pretty much block this off from letting any air in or out or fluid out. So let's go to hit Lowe's real quick and grab what we need, and then get back to finishing up the bagger. Alright, so just parked at Lowe's, gonna run in real quick and see if I can find us a bolt to plug up these caps. Should be no problem, but be in and out real quick. Alright, so it looks like it's a 7/16 by 20, so fine thread or machine thread for anybody that wants to do this. So let's actually go find the bolt now. Actually, it's right here. 7/16 20 fine. Yep. So let's see if they got any short ones in here. 1 inch could work. How far those threads are. Give it a shot real quick. Might be it. Let's see if I can find some shorter ones. So the shortest I could find was 1 inch here. So somebody sticks out, I might get some washers and of course an O-ring or a rubber washer just to make sure it does not leak. But I'm just going to go with these and then stack some stuff to make it work. Alright, so I got a wish-wash of parts here. Hopefully make this work. I'm going to go find some Teflon tape just to put those on the bolts, make sure it doesn't leak, and then head back home and finish this up. Alright, got the stuff we need, hopefully. Now let's get back home and finish this whole project up. Sucks I won't be able to take much video of it tonight, or probably ride it, because I'll probably be getting done a little too late. But that's what tomorrow's for. Hopefully it doesn't rain. But yeah, let's get home and get to it. Alright, I'm back in the garage, and this is how far we got last night. Pretty sure we recorded that, but I'll show you guys. Pretty much got this one ready to go. Just have to loosen some nuts down there, and this one should pop out. And then we just gotta do the same. We gotta do the same over here, and we should be able to have these forks out in a couple minutes. So move all that stuff there, probably put the plugs back in the bottom of the sliders. That way we can pull them right out. So let's get to it. There we go, just need a little bit of tapping from the top. It's starting to come out now. Here they come. One of them at least. The rubber piece off the top. Look at that. Hey, we got one out. Hit these with some steel wool for sure. Let's see if this will pop out. Here it comes. Hell yeah. That rubber thing off. Woo. Yeah, definitely gonna hit it with some steel wool up here. Clean this whole tube up some. Like I said, this bike has over 60,000 miles on it. And I'm pretty sure these tubes have never been taken out. So definitely clean these up real quick. Take these tops off right here, and then we're gonna be able to put in the new springs and the 2-inch extensions. So actually before I proceed with taking apart the tubes, I'm gonna take off the cowbells and toss on the 2 over cowbells. So that's just held on with one of these little bolts, and there's also one behind it. And it's a 3/8 to pop them off, so we'll get those off right now, get the extended cowbells on, and then take apart those tubes over there. Got that fresh chrome on the 2 over cowbells, nice and shiny, so we'll get these on and then we'll get the tubes taken care of. Alright, so we have the 2 over cowbells on now, as you can see. Pretty big difference.
between the two, roughly. It's hard to put it, you know, up in there, but yeah, so they'll be able to cover up the actual tubes.
I'm not a big fan of the exposed tubes on at least the 41 mils because they are small tubes, just makes the whole front end look kind of weird. But I mean, teach their own, however they want to do it, it's their bike. But I definitely wanted to do some extended cowbells just to keep the classic look of the bike, but still have the performance stuff of like a 2-over and a 14-inch rear suspension. But yeah, so let's get taking apart the tubes now, and we'll get to that. All right, so to take apart the top of the tubes to get that top nut out, you actually have to go and buy one of these specialty tools, and it actually fits on top of that weird tube cap, and that's how you're going to take this apart. So let's give these a shot. I don't have a vise, so this should be interesting. Hopefully they come out no problem. We're about to find out. Pull the spring out, put in the new progressive spring with the extension, and then we'll go from there. So the second fork, a little bit harder to get off without a vise, so put vice grips on, able to get it loose. So let's get the rest of these tubes put back together, get them on the bike.
All right, so these are the progressive heavy duty springs that are gonna go in these tubes right here. Pretty much same thing, get these popped in, you can go.
So I got the preload spacers cut. The instructions call for 1.87 inches. I cut around 1 7/8. It's like right there. So let's start putting these things back together.
Let's just get these in, hardest part. Second try, I guess you could say.
All right, I'm dying out here. It is still 85, almost 87 out still, but tubes are done. Like I said, I'll be able to add the oil once they're actually installed back in the triple tree. So let's get these back in the triple tree and see how they look.
One in, still gotta tighten everything down. I don't know what that's for, but we're gonna put it back on. I gotta put it on the other one too, so I'm gonna pop it out, but it looks like they're in.
Alright, so we have
Them installed.
Swing is going to be sitting very tall. It's going to be badass, but time to add some fork oil. Got my little measuring cup. Got some 20 weight here, and we're going to get that topped off and then put in the top plugs with our little makeshift bolt in there to seal it all up, and then tighten everything down, and I'll get the wheel and the fender on. We'll see how it looks, and we'll get to the back. All right, so the manual calls for 9.7 ounces. Got it right, I'm gonna show you a little bit, but right above 9.5. I'd say that's pretty spot on. Like I said, I have the funnel right at the top, goes to the top of the tube. So let's get it filled up. So here's that little makeshift plug I was talking about, or we went to the store for. Pretty much you see the rubber washer, got a nylon spacer, metal
washer on top, and then that bolt that goes in the top is 7/16. So should be all good to go. Of course, I'm going to install the actual plug first, then install this bolt, and then we'll be getting all the rest of the front end done and good to go.
All right, so I got the top caps installed. Pretty much it's all good to go. Got them torqued down to 40 foot-pounds. Got one there, one there. So now I'm going to add the makeshift plugs with the bolt now, and then we should be good to go to get the wheel on. I'm going to put all the plastics on first, of course, and yeah, so stay tuned. All right, so we got the makeshift plugs in there. Seems like they're going to do great. And now I'm going to get the plastics back on, and then fender and wheel, and then we get to see what the front end will look like, and then like I said, we'll get to the rear, and that's when I'll go over what we got going in the back with the CVO suspension. Got the fender on, time to get the wheel back on. I got the wheel on, fender on, so here we go.
This thing is going to be sitting tall. But let's get it lowered down so I can start doing the rear stuff. Like I said, all we got to add are those little 1-inch lift blocks, and it's super easy.
Alright, so I'm going to quickly go over what I did on the rear suspension on this bike with the 24 and up CVO suspension. It's actually pretty much plug and play. You do have to make a little bracket for the preload adjuster. But other than that, everything bolted up fine. It rides amazing. You can find the instructions online on how to actually set these up correctly. A lot of people get rid of them because the dealerships do not set them up. So if you follow the instructions, do all the stuff that they say in the manual, these actually feel pretty damn good. So I'll show you guys right now what we got working on, what we have working here.
So, as you can see, this is that mainspring. This is your main preload, and these have dampening adjustment on both shocks. You see over here, it's a little bit different kind of spring or shock, but here's that little bracket that I made. You see it right here to hold on to that preload adjuster right there. But yeah, this also has dampening adjustment there.
And like I said, these things feel pretty awesome. So we're gonna add
the 1-inch lift blocks up here and up there.
The RLNS website states that it does not fit on this bike, but I already mocked them up and they do. So that's a plus right there. And it's gonna make this thing look awesome. So I'm gonna lower it down. We'll get to actually see what it looks like first off on the front end once I lower it down a little bit. So yeah, let's get to it.
So here are the lift blocks, and pretty much they fit like that. Shock bolts to that hole right there. This bolts to the frame, and we should be good to go. So I'm going to take that bolt out, lift the bike up. Actually, I'm going to take the bolt out on both sides, lift the bike up just a little bit, fit these in there, get it all situated. I'll get back on the video once completed because it's getting late and I want to get this done. So I'm not really going to do the step-by-step on this one, but it's pretty straightforward. It's not that hard to do this part. But yeah, so stay tuned. All right, it's well past midnight. Finally done. You can see, we had to modify the top of the shock just a little bit, just because of the design of it. So took a flappy disc to it, painted it some black. Yeah, there's the 1-inch lift blocks with that O-ring CVO suspension.
So if you do plan on doing like my version of the suspension where you get the 24 and up CVO suspension, and you want to run these lift blocks on an old bagger, so like what, 2000 to 03 or around that age, like skinny tire bagger stuff, you'll probably have to modify the top of the right side shock. Super easy though, just take a flappy disc to it. But I'm gonna grab the bags, throw them back on, and then actually lower it, and we're gonna see what it looks like for the first time. All right, so she's officially off stands, and this bike looks absolutely insane. Getting videos in this garage aren't even gonna do it justice, so I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, get some sick shots, grab my R5 Mark II, some real killer shots in the cul-de-sac probably, or maybe just use the GoPro, but this thing looks awesome. So let's get to those shots now. So it's like almost 1 a.m. now. I'm gonna hit the sack, and it's gonna fast forward till tomorrow afternoon probably with these badass shots, and then me finishing up the video. But this was my first time really digging into doing some crazy stuff like suspension work on a bike, even though it's pretty simple. But for me, it was definitely out of my comfort zone, but I was able to get it accomplished. So that means that shows anybody can do that stuff. But yeah, so let's get to the shots now. Well, not a good day. Fuck. Well, just my luck. That drive belt just snapped. Trying to do a little burnout. Yeah, I can't win. Austin's on his way now to come tow me over to his parents' house, who actually live right over yonder. So I'm gonna leave the bike there. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a belt in time, get it back on. That way I can take it down to Cape Coral this weekend Saturday. Have a good time on it, but yeah, quite annoying. As you can see, yeah. But, all right, so I pre-recorded an outro, but I guess because this just broke, I'll say the bike felt absolutely amazing before this broke. That new front suspension is absolutely awesome. The rears I have set up a little too stiff, I think, so I'm going to loosen those up just a bit. And yeah, I'm going to try to order a belt and get that all taken care of, and should be back on the road ripping. But I would assume that's the original belt on this bike, which has probably over 60,000 miles on it. So as you can see, is a clean brake. So hoping I can get one, or there's someone local that has one that I can grab and get this thing back together and ripping. So until next time, like and subscribe. Thank you everybody that's been watching the video so far. This video is definitely a feat for me, or first feat for me, because I've never done front suspension on a bike, and I was a little terrified of it. Thought it'd be super hard, but it wasn't that bad. And but yeah, so here we are trying to have a little fun with the bike and brake stuff like always. So until next time, guys, like I said, stay tuned for some more content. Hopefully get this ready for Cape Coral this weekend. So we're going, well, Austin and I are going to go down and see some friends, so hopefully we get this thing dialed in and good to go. So yeah. Shout out to Austin for grabbing this, and yeah, get this thing over to Lou's and get it fixed.